Welcome to the vapor corner.
In the vape world, we hear game changer all the time. Well, I can tell you this, looking at all the specifications, the features, the price, this thing seems like a game changer. But is it? Join me for a vape as we review the brand new Smok X-Cube 2 on the Vapor Chronicles. Stay tuned. Hey everybody, and welcome back to this edition of the Vapor Chronicles. This is a review of a product that I have been anticipating for months. When I first saw the screenshots, I saw the original X-Cube at the Pennsylvania Vape Conference or Expo or whatever a few months ago, and I loved the little squeeze firing button, so I was kind of excited about that. Never had that device to review, and when Smok said they were releasing a new version and I started looking at all the features, all the capabilities that it had, I got really excited. Well, this was sent to me by Smok for the purpose of this review. This is a sample. This device is still in production. It should be arriving soon, and I've seen the prices range from anywhere from $80 to $100. As soon as they become available, I'll be sure to update this and put a link below for you to purchase it. I have the stainless finish, nice fit and finish, looks good, and it's big, it's bulky, but it's dual 18650s, and it is packed with features. Packed with features that you may love, you may hate, you may not care at all about, or you might cherish for the rest of your vaping life. Not quite, but you know what I'm going at. So what is it? Well, it's a 160 watt, temperature controlled, advanced personal vaporizer with tons of innovation for user adjustability, to personalize this thing in every which way possible. You can personalize and view data and change settings in things I never even knew were possible in vaping. Does it make it a better vaporizer? Well, if you're into gadgets, you're into tinkering, you're into flexibility, you're into upgrades, you're into additional features, this might be exactly what you're looking for. If anything, it's a sign of the capabilities of these devices and what we have to look forward to in the future. Some people are always going to like simplicity, and you know what? We've had mech mods, we have some simple pop a battery, dual build, fire and vape, but there's different levels of vapors, different types of vapors, and it's great to have all these options, great to have all this competition. It's a great time to be a vapor. All right, but this is going to be a hell of a long video. I'm not going to babble on too much because I want to show you a lot about how to use the device, what I think about it. So let's do this. Let's dive in, break it down, and then we'll come back out. We'll take it for a vape. Okay, so here is the outside of the Smok X-Cube 2, and typical Smok quality box, nice packaging, nice presentation, and we're going to open up the box. Now it looks to me that there's going to be two versions. Down at the bottom here you can see right here it says Bluetooth 4.0 160 watt, and it looks like there's 160 watt TC, which is what I have here. Alright, there's a little sticker here for the color. This is the only color that I've seen so far, but I'm sure they probably should have others. Some QR codes. Nice padding on the top to protect the mod during transit. And here's the device. Nice shiny finish. We're going to go over all the material details and things like that once I do the specs and features. Now I will warn you that this device has a steep learning curve, and this is not going to be a beginner's or simple video. There's even some things that I might not even understand, but as the community grows, as this device gets out there more, we learn more, we're going to be able to figure all the little ins and outs out in the future. Let me pull this off. I do recommend reading this. This is your instruction brochure, really nicely done. There's a couple things I would like to see added to this. I've already been through it, but it's pretty good. It's pretty easy to understand. Lots of big pictures and details, okay? There's a 6-month warranty from purchase, as they say on here. And they also give you a little, you know, it looks like suede, but it might be fake, or Alcantara or something like that, but a little zip carrying bag for your device. And here is your micro USB cable for upgrading the firmware. And the USB port on the device is not for charging, it's for firmware upgrade. All right. And some silica gel for my boy Mike Vapes, because he loves to eat it, even though it says clearly dangerous, do not eat. I don't know how he gets away with it, but it is what it is. Okay, so let's go down some specs and features. It has 3 different output modes. It has temperature mode, watt mode, and memory mode. Output power is from 6 watts to 160 watts. Output voltage is 0.35 volts to 8 volts. Resistance range 0.06 to 3 in temp mode and 0.1 to 3 in watt mode. Temperature control range is 200 degrees Fahrenheit to 600 degrees Fahrenheit and 100 degrees Celsius to 315 degrees Celsius. The USB port is for upgrading the firmware, not for charging, as I said before. It has 160 watt maximum output power. It also has customizable LEDs. It has a magnetic held battery cover. It has a 12-second cutoff, short circuit low resistance protection, overheat protection, and low battery warning. And that is customizable, by the way. It is made of high quality zinc alloy and stainless steel. It has wattage memory modes, 16 of them. It also is Bluetooth 4.0 compatible, and they have a Smart BEC, BEC, which stands for Smart Bluetooth Electronic Cigarette. It's available for Android 4.3 and up, and iOS 7.0 and up. I did hear some talking recently, and remember today is the 29th of July 2015, so remember anything I say in this review might be updated, fixed, or remedied before you receive this product, so just be aware of that. But as of today, I heard some Android users were having trouble accessing the device on their Android. Apple, no problem. It does use Bluetooth 4.0 technology, which uses low energy. Replaceable battery, 2 18650 batteries, spring-loaded 510. It has a big OLED display, and that's pretty much it. So let's take a look at the device itself. And I'm going to do my best to show you everything at different angles and go through all the details. But it says X-Cube on the surface here. You can see the nice materials, 160 watt TC at the bottom here. This is the one side. Let's zoom in a little bit. So this is the side of the device. This is the top of the device. Here's your blue screwdriver. I'm just kidding. This is your spring-loaded 510. Nice and tight. Stainless steel threading. OLED screen, down and up buttons. This is your firing button. This entire line here on the side, if you squeeze the device, that fires the device. So it's almost like it closes in on itself. You have some venting on the bottom. This is your micro USB port for upgrading the firmware. And that's pretty much the outside of it. It does say Smok on this side, which is your battery cover door. And to open your battery, you just grab right here and slide out. So this is magnetic, as you can see. I do wish these magnets were a little bit tighter. It's not loose, but it is kind of easy to, I can use one finger. Now if I move this around though, it doesn't really rattle or anything like that. But if I do this hard, it does come off. So, it's up to you. Some people like tight doors, some people don't. It's not really sloppy, but it's not as, I would just like bigger, heavier battery magnets. I wish maybe this was a square magnet here and a square magnet here, and it filled this whole area here. It might hold it down with a little bit more force. All right? So that's that. And remember also, these are demo units, so things are subject to change. Take this off. Here's your ribbon for removing your battery. Magnet, magnet on the cover. Magnet, magnet. So you want to use 2 batteries. These are both Samsung 25R batteries that I'm going to be using for this review. Put your battery in, positive side up here, other battery, positive side down. There you go. Put your cover back on. You can see there's a little LED show that comes on when you put your batteries in. And let's go into this. Now this is going to be a little bit confusing, a little bit complicated, but I'll try to keep it simple for you. Now to turn your device on, what you want to do is you want to squeeze the trigger, and when I say push the fire button, I mean squeeze this entire side here. Okay, this is the fire button. So what you want to do to turn the device on, you want to squeeze the trigger 5 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You'll see the Smok logo come up. TL360, welcome. So this is your main screen. Now on your main screen, you're going to see a few things. You're going to see your temperature, you're going to see your vaping preference mode. There's 3 different modes for selecting how much power you feel when you vape the device, sort of like the SX Mini M Class. Your battery life indicator, you have a Bluetooth indicator here that's not on so you don't see it. And you also see your resistance, your voltage, and your wattage. Okay, so lots of information on the screen. And the screen is rotatable, so you don't have to worry about, depending on which orientation you want, you can figure that out within the menu system. Lots and lots of shortcuts on here. The main menu system, though, is pretty easy to access. What you want to do to get to the main menu is you want to hit this button 3 times, 1, 2, 3, and you'll see there's Bluetooth is number 1, then you have your mode, LED, puffs, settings, and then power. Okay, so you have all those different settings that you can access just by hitting this button quickly. All right, now to select one of these settings, you say you wanted to select your puff counter, you just hold the fire button and then it goes into that screen. Okay, now to move around in here, you use the up and down arrow buttons, and you can make your adjustments. To select and go back to the main screen, hold the fire button in, and then that'll select and go back to the main menu. All right, we're going to go through all those screens in a minute, but I want to show you some shortcuts first. Now, to turn Bluetooth on or off the quick way, if you hold the plus and minus buttons at the same time, you'll see Bluetooth on. To turn it off, Bluetooth off. Okay? Now, if you press the firing bar and the minus button at the same time, you'll switch to your different modes. So this is memory mode, which allows you to have 16 memories for wattage. This is your wattage mode, which is just standard 0.1 watt increment adjustment. And then if you hit the minus and the fire again, you go into temp mode, and there's your temp mode. So that's a quick way to access. Same time, minus and firing bar. Now to switch your firing preference, if you press the plus button and the firing bar at the same time, you'll see it's soft now, hit it again, normal, hit it again, hard. And you can play around with that for your preference. Now, there are other shortcuts that are available, but they're only available when the device is locked. So to access the lock screen, you want to hit the firing bar 5 times. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and you'll see that the device is now locked. So if I go to fire, it's locked, it's not going to do anything, and there's a little LED show that shows up on the side when it's locked. Now if you hit the minus and the plus at the same time, you'll see your puff counter. If you press the firing bar and the plus button at the same time, it turns stealth mode on, so now you don't see anything on the screen, and then to press the firing bar again, it turns stealth mode off. If you press the minus button and the firing bar, it turns the LED function on the side on and off. Once again, press it again, and it turns it back on again. All of these things can also be accessed in the main menu, so these are just shortcuts. Now if you hold the plus button down, it shows the current date, and this is only in locked mode. Now if you keep holding the minus button in locked mode, it shows the time. Now if you want to turn off the device, keep holding the firing bar, and it'll go to the off screen in a few seconds. And then it turns off. Now let's go back to turn the device back on, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So let's go to the main menu, 1, 2, 3, and here is your Bluetooth. Now if you select this, so say we want to access Bluetooth. If we hold the fire button down, it selects it, and you can switch by clicking single click quickly to turn each feature off. So say we want it off, hold the fire button down, and then it turns it off. 1, 2, 3. Your mode, if you hold the fire button down, temp mode, memory mode, wattage mode, and then temp mode again. So let's go to memory mode. To select it, hold the fire button, and then you can also select your puff preference. So we're going to go to hard, hold down, and then we're also going to select, you can adjust different settings. So say for M1, you want to make it, say for M1 you want to make it 20 watts. So now M1 is 20 watts. M2, M3, M4, M5, M6, and you can set each one of these individually for whatever your preferences are. Okay? Now if you don't like that, you can switch to regular wattage mode with the shortcut or go to the menu. Okay? So that's memory mode. Wattage mode, once again, select your puff preference. We're going to go hard again, and there you go. So single 0.1 watt increments all the way down to 6 watts. It does pick up speed rapidly. And it goes all the way up to 160 watts. Okay? And then lastly, you have temp mode. So we'll select temp mode, we'll select hard, and then it lets you select the type of wire you're going to use. Right now, nickel's on that. I'll explain that later. SC stands for 1, 2, 3. Let's go back again. So you have your nickel, and then SC is single coil, and DC is dual coil. So it asks you what you're using, single coil or dual coil. So let's select single coil, and then it exits. Your third screen is your LED. Now, you can switch between off, RGB, jump, and shade. These are the 3 different settings that you have. So say you go to RGB. You can actually control the red, green, and blue, each of the numbers, tons and tons of different things. Then you can also select the speed by going right and left and how you want this to interact. So this would be slow all the way to the right. And fast all the way to the left. Once you select that in, once again, lots of customization between fast and slow. And you can really play around with this to whatever your preference. If you want it to ease in, if you want it to flash, if you want it to stay at one color, it's really up to you. 3 different options for that. Play around with it, pick your preference, and that's what's really cool about this device. It's very personalized. Then you have your puff settings. You can reset them here. Then you have your overall settings. So this is where you can do a firmware download. You can also do your screen time settings, your contrast settings. You can do your screen orientation. You can set your time. You can adjust the ohms. So there's lots of selections. But say, for instance, you want to change the contrast. You hold this down, and then you can lower or raise depending on what you want. And to select it, you hold the fire button. And then you can flip it just by hitting quickly on the fire bar. So we'll do normal. Set your time. You can adjust to go to the next fire bar, up and down, next fire bar, up and down, next, next, and same, and so it goes. And then you just set it in. All right. Power. Power on, power off. It's up to you. Now, say I select power off and let go. As you can see, within a few seconds, it automatically just selects whatever you're on. So if you don't want to hold the button down, it'll automatically select if you leave it on that screen. All right? Now, when I take a tank and say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right now we're in temperature mode. So when I'm on the main screen, if I go with adjusting up and down here, you can see it's adjusting it in 10-degree increments, right? And when I fire, it says check atomizer. So if I put my device on here, my tank, without even going to the mode or anything like that, 22 millimeter diameter is good on here, no overhangs, everything's lined up. You can even do 23 millimeters. If you go bigger than that, a little bit of screen overlay, but it doesn't block the screen at all. And this does seem pretty sealed, so I wouldn't worry about that. At least I haven't had an issue yet. Now, as soon as I fire this, it asks if there's a new coil. So I want to hit yes. So I'm going to hold yes, and there we go. All right. As I fire, you can see it's actively reading the temperature. Now I have this in hard mode, and it's making adjustments. Now when it hits the temp limit, you can see that comes up on the screen. Okay. It's also showing the wattage pulsing and the voltage. Now, I have not found a way to lock in the resistance. I know it detects the different tanks you put on and the different coils when you change your tank, but I see the resistance actually moving, and other devices have been doing that lately too. So I don't know if that's going to be a new standard or not, but that's what I've noticed. Now, I'm going to have to switch screens because I want to show you this really cool Bluetooth app that's available for this, but I also want to show you a cotton burn test. So let me take this off. And I have a nickel build over here. So we're gonna put this on. I want to make a few things clear. Number one, I do not know that just because something passes a nickel burn test that it means the temperature control works properly. I don't even really know what temperature control working properly means. We have a few devices, some of them I prefer over others, like the DNA 40 has gotten better as they've come out with different revisions. The SX350J, all the Yeehee temperature control chips vape satisfactorily for me, and they protect me from getting dry hits. But I have found that the temperatures that I prefer on those devices are different on, like, say for instance, the e-cig from Joytech or this device. I need more temperature degrees to get the same satisfying vape on this as I do on those devices. Now, just because this passes the cotton burn test doesn't necessarily mean that it works, because they could just turn the power down so that it doesn't burn the cotton, but that doesn't mean that it's actually regulating the temperature. So anyway, right now it's 520 degrees, so we're going to lower this to 420. All right, so the cotton's in there. We're going to zoom in. There's my spaced nickel. It's reading the new coil, so I'll hit yes. And it's reading 0.09 ohms, which is fine for this device. And we're going to hold fire. Still holding. Okay, so let's take a look at the cotton, and there's nothing. So it does a wonderful job there. Let's turn up the temperature to 460. Nothing. 500. Let go. Fire. Nothing. Little bit of browning right here. So we're going to stop at 500. Eventually it will brown, it will light on fire. But let's do this. I'm going to put some juice on here. I'm going to drip some zombies on here. Let's watch what happens. So 500 degrees, let's zoom out a little bit. Okay. So it is vaping, it's sensing there's liquid on there, it's allowing it to go up to 500 now. It doesn't go up as quick. Now if I go up higher in the temperature, more vapor. All right, and I got juice all over the screen. So there you go, it passed the cotton burn test. It seems to be working for temp, which is a lot better than the M80, and that's really good news. So I'm going to switch cameras because I need to show you my phone because I'm going to show you the app. So let's switcheroo. I'm going to change my volume because I have to use a different mic, so it's going to sound a little different, but I'm going to show you the app on my cracked iPhone 6 Plus. All right, let's switch. Okay, so here we are. Hopefully the audio is not too terrible. I usually record my videos on my iPhone, but I have to show you this. So here's my cracked iPhone and my little TVC background. It might be backwards, but here's the app, Smart VEC. So we're going to select that. And we're going to tilt this. Now you can see it says scanning. So when I turn my device on, it's not recognizing it because it's not turned on. So what will happen is it's not going to detect the device because Bluetooth is not turned on. So let me wipe this screen so you can see everything. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to enable Bluetooth. So I can hold these two if I want to do the shortcut together, and you'll see Bluetooth on. So as soon as I hit retry, now it detects my X cube. So I'm going to select the X cube. It's going to ask for a passcode. The default passcode is 000000. Okay, there you go. So now we're into the device itself. So this is your main screen. Now your main screen, and I hope that you'll be able to understand and read all of this stuff. When I fire my device and I'm not pressing anything else, you can see it's actively showing on my screen the temperature, the power in wattage, the atomizer resistance, and the voltage. Okay? Now, if you hit this middle button here, you're going to go to a horizontal graph, and when I turn it sideways, you have three selections. You have voltage, you have power, and you have temp. So watch this. Okay, so there's the graph for voltage, there's the graph for power, and there's the graph for temperature. Okay, pretty cool. Some people won't care about this feature at all. Some people will love it. I don't know how accurate it is, but it is cool that it's instantaneous, and it gives you a little bit more visibility. Now, also on your screen here, you have your battery percentage here at the bottom corner of your device, and you also have your temperature of the device itself, not of the coil, and you have the Wi-Fi signal strength. All right. You can set up new vape puffs here, which I'm not really into that whole vape puff thing. You can also go to the Smok, I think it's their website or something on here, but I don't really go to that much either. All right. Now, you can also turn off the LED from the device. So if I turn it on, you can see it's on. And if I turn it off, it's off. Okay. The next screen you have in the middle here is your data log. Now there's a vaping record, so you have all kinds of data yesterday, today. I actually received 2 of these devices. My other one was the one that I've been vaping, so I wanted to do this fresh for you. You have the whole week. You also have the whole month. And you can also see graphs once again. I'm not going to tilt it sideways, but there's graphs for week, month, year that you can look at. And last but not least, if you're into creepy stuff, you can actually locate exactly where, which I'm not going to show you very long. You're not going to be able to tell anyway, but fuck it. You can see where I'm vaping. So say I'm here and I select this button here. I can select today. And you can see Beck Pro, location. And then you can also add a customized page with all your details, your picture. You can do comments to me. It's sort of like, you know, my vaporizer. You can update your passwords, your different settings. This is all on the app. Okay. Your next screen here is your puff counter and plan. So if you're into the whole quitting smoking or counting your puffs, you can do that there. And you can also go into here. Now, right now, I have it set to the Atomizer NI 200. Okay. So say I wanted to switch to a different coil. Well, I can switch to normal, confirm, and then I can adjust my settings here. Okay. Now, notice how this still says 580 degrees. Well, I switched to wattage mode, right? So I have it 75 watts, and I can select it to normal. Now, right now, this is on hard, but if I select normal and then I hit the check, notice how everything on my screen just changed. So you can actively change your settings without going into the menu system on your phone if you'd like to. Will you like it? It's up to you. Pretty cool, though. So say I want to switch back. NI 200, hard, and say 542 degrees. There we go. We're there. Okay. Now, this is a little different, and I'm still learning about this. I do understand temp coefficient rate. The other devices, and I apologize about the visual quality of the screen here. Let me see if I can sharpen that up a little bit. Sorry about that. I'm not using the camera I normally use, and I'm trying to do this from overhead to make it as clear as possible. So it is what it is. So check this out. So you have this temp coefficient rate. Now the temp coefficient rate goes all the way down to 270, and it goes all the way up to 670, right? The Dicodes device, the Danny Extreme V2 that I used, had coefficient adjustment also. The interesting thing is this is set for a coefficient of 470, I believe, out of the box, right? So in the manual, in the user manual for the Danny Extreme V2, I don't even know if there's a correlation. I don't know what the numbers mean. And in the user manual for the Smok, it didn't have anything about this. So this is sort of like I'm figuring it out as I go along. And we'll know more as we go along, guys. All right. All I know is this. When I turn up the coefficient rate, the vape gets stronger, more robust, like I like. When I also turn the coefficient up, it burns the cotton when I do a cotton burn test. I know that when I set the coefficient on the Danny V2 Extreme, the Extreme V2, I could set the coefficient to 625, and I could set it to 420 degrees, and it doesn't burn the cotton. It regulates the temperature and doesn't burn. When I set this one to, when I set this one to 625, it totally lights the cotton in a blazing inferno, and I don't know if these numbers match. But I'm going to show you because I think it's pretty cool. We'll come back to this in a minute, actually. So there's that. You also have all kinds of settings in here to play with and adjust. You can change your vaporizer name. You can set your password. You can change from temperature units. You can set a charging alert from when it's 20% low, 50% low, all the way up to 90% low, and it will alert you. You can also change your LED colors. So like right now, the LED is off actually. So let's go back to the main screen, turn the LED on. So now I have it set to some sort of a changing color setup. But when I go here and go to change LED color, and say I want to set it to blue. Now it's just blue, solid. When I let go, light goes out. Okay, set it to red, just red. I can change it to pretty much any color that I want. Lots of options in there for that. Okay, if you put it to here, it'll flash between colors. And this will sort of smoothly switch between them. All right. You can also turn it off here so that it doesn't come on at all. This is a fingerprint magnet. You'll notice it's definitely, you need to wipe it off. So there's your LED colors. You can change your settings for timing, for LED cutoff. Now this is an interesting thing. You can also reset your temp coefficient rate to the standard that it came with, and you can also check this out. This goes to a store, and it looks like there's titanium wire temp control, and you buy it. So when I hit this, it's 49 cents, it says. I can pay with PayPal, and then it's 49 cents, and I think it lets me, let me do it, screw it. So I'm going to get out of here and not show you my password. Okay, so this is titanium wire temp control activation. It's 49 cents. For 49 cents, I think they should have just kept it. Maybe they're just trying this out to see how it works. But, it is what it is. So let me put this in. Okay, so now that I paid for it, if you can see this clearly, it says upgrade. So let's see what happens when I hit upgrade. Okay, so it says successfully upgraded. Update successful. So now I believe if I go to here and I go to here, yep, now I can select titanium. And once again, you can change the coefficiency rate, and the coefficiency rate's actually different for titanium. It's 350, which I believe is correct. So there you go. But I didn't select it in because I don't have a titanium coil on here. So should they have included it? Well, it's kind of cool to be able to add features, start off with a lower entry level price, but for 49 cents, it just seems kind of strange. But it is what it is. The cool thing is it updated the software. Let me see if the device itself has that built in. Let me say 1, 2, 3. Mode, temp, hard, titanium. Yep. So now it's in the device actually. Cool. All right. Single coil, and there we go. All right, guys. So there's the app. There might be some hidden features in there, but I think I showed you pretty much everything that I know. I've been playing with this thing for about 5 days now, and I dig a lot of things about this device. I'm a tinkerer. I love technology. I love playing. Is the device perfect? No. Is it the best device ever made? No. Is it awesome, awesome, awesome for the value of the price, for what you get, for the power capacity for two 18650s, nickel, titanium, all that stuff taken into consideration? It's an innovative, groundbreaking device for the masses that I'm just so impressed with. So anyway, let's switch back. I'm going to zoom back out. We're going to take this for a vape, and we're going to wrap up this long review. All right, guys, let's zoom out. So there you go. We've got firmware upgrades. We've got option upgrades. We've got LED bars for firing. We have adjustable color adjustments. We have wattage, titanium, nickel, you know, if you pay for the titanium upgrade, which I just learned. We have GPS that can track you if Big Brother's watching, if you're afraid of that kind of shit, which I could care less, because if Big Brother wants to watch me, first of all, if you're watching me and my life's boring, what does that make your life? Well, it's a job, I guess. So watch away, Big Brother. Puff counters, and it's really as complicated or as simple as you want it to be. It's a personalized vaping device that has an innovative firing button, an innovative, simple to use, simple to read screen. I'm not going to say simple to use because it does have a steep learning curve. Once you start to grasp the shortcuts, once you start to grasp the adjustments, it actually turns to a nice vape. I think they're going to have a non-temperature control version of this, so if you want all the features without TC, I think it's going to be cheaper, so it should be available soon. If you want TC, then this might be the better option for you. Temperature control seems to work. I have no equipment whatsoever to judge how well it works. All I can tell you is that when I raise the temperature up to a higher level than I would on my other devices like the Yeehee SX Mini or the Diocode's Danny Extreme V2, then it starts to become a satisfying vape, very similar to the Joytech eVic and the eLeaf iStick TC. I think they're playing it safe by keeping the temperature lower than it really is so that they don't have failed burn cotton tests. My impression, I have no facts or data to support that other than my vaping experience with the device. Does it regulate temperature for the purpose of providing a satisfying vape without dry hitting? Yes. Is that what's important? Yes. So there you have it. It works. Let's take this for a vape. I have this set right now to 140 watts. Brand new, soon to be reviewed by me once I get the final version. The Smok TFV4, which is an awesome cloud chucking tank, not for mouth to lung. Clouds, clouds, and more clouds, coil options, aplenty. It's going to be huge for certain people. Easy to fill on the top, lots of coil options, huge coils, little coils, every coil in between, RBA section that is ridiculous. I'm not going to waste your time with it because it's coming soon. I'm going to review, full review for that here on the Vapor Chronicles. But for this, let's take it for a vape. 140 watts, quad vertical coil. Cloudy, okay? More clouds than I would normally vape, but I'm showing you what it's capable of. It's reading 0.16 for this quad vertical coil, pre-made coil head. So if you like blown clouds, you like good flavor, you like to have your juice budget be more than your gasoline budget for the week, there you go, the TFV4 from Smok. Let's pop a tank on here and let's go into temperature control mode real quick. Now, I vape this device here, the Danny Extreme V2, all the time. I vape this tank. This tank is the Volcano Tube Tank Pro. I know what settings I like it at. The temperature coefficient is at 625. I have it set to 530 degrees, 40 watts, and that's what I'd like to vape this at. So when I vape it, it produces a great satisfying cloudy vape that I like the temperature, I like the heat. It's really, really good on here. Let's take the same thing and pop it on here, put it down for 5 minutes. Then we're going to start the device, and then we're going to take that for a vape, 530 degrees, with the coefficient set the way that it is when I did the cotton burn test. All right, I'll be right back. Okay, so I have the tank on. We're going to switch to power mode. We just switched to temperature mode. I'm going to fire. New coil, yes. And we're going to lower the power to 530 degrees Fahrenheit. It is set to hard, which that one has sort of a ramp up too, so I'm comparing apples to apples here. It's reading 0.25 ohms, and let's take this for a vape. It's limiting the temperature considerably. Not the same vape, not the same accuracy of temperature. But if I raise the temperature to 580 degrees, still not good. 600 degrees. It's better. Now, let me go into my phone that I can't go in right now because you're watching this. So let me pause the video, go into my phone, set the temp coefficient to 620, and then we're going to try again and see if that makes a difference. All right, let's do it. So the coefficient is set on my phone. I'm back, and let's take this for a vape. I have it set to 500. 530 degrees. Resistance is in. I have it set to hard, and the coefficient is set just like on the dicodes. Let's take it for a vape. Much, much better. So I have a lot to learn about the heat coefficient, temperature coefficient, but I do know that raising it up gives you a more powerful vape in temperature control mode. Whether it would dry burn the cotton or not when this emptied, I'm not really sure. But I think it would hit temp limit quick enough that that's really what we're using all this stuff for, isn't it? I mean, so that we know if we're not looking and we're using a dripper, that's when I like to use it, or we're using a tank and we're not looking, so that you don't dry burn the cotton, or if it's not wicking fast enough so you don't dry burn the cotton. And you can tell because it'll start, first of all, I can see it on the screen with my eyes. Once it hits the limit for the temperature, once the temperature hits my set limit, it'll start to lower your vapor production. So you'll be able to tell that your wick is getting less juice on it. All right. With that said, let's talk about some pros and some cons, and then we'll finish up this long review. If you've hung in this whole time, I appreciate it. I try to keep it as informative as possible. I know it's long, but this is a pretty detailed, in-depth device, and I wanted to give it my all and give you everything you deserve. So pros: innovative, tons of features, lots of world first features in an affordable personal vaporizer. Second pro: dual 18650 battery. Awesome. Magnetic battery door. Good, but could be better. Lots of personalization, lots of features, smartphone access for those that are into it, upgradability, firmware upgradability, future forward thinking design, great bright screen, easy to read, switchable, flippable, turn on things, turn off things to your heart's content, whatever you like, whatever you don't like. Also, the price for what you get. You're getting a powerful device that does lots of things for not a lot of money in this competitive marketplace. So I think this is going to sell like hotcakes, and I've been enjoying it. It's big, it's heavy, it's bulky, but it's powerful, and it's not overly big. When you compare it size-wise, to something like the Sigeli 150 watt TC, you can see it's a little bit taller. It's the same height as here. When you lay them over each other, it's about the same width, about the same weight, a little bit heavier on here, but you get a lot more options, flexibility, and features. Do I like the firing button? Yep, I like it. It's clicky. No rattles on the device. Feels good. As I said, battery door, a little bit, could use a little stronger magnets, but it's definitely not a bad thing, because I don't want to give it negative points because it doesn't rattle, it doesn't move around much. If you do hit it with your finger, it can move freely, but it is on there and it is stable. Cons. The fit and finish, there's a slight little, and this is a sample, so I can't say this is going to be the final, but I need to be honest and tell you what I see and what I feel. Slight little variation in the height of the battery door here, not the most precise fit. There's no huge glaring gaps, but there's slight little imperfections. Steep learning curve. You need to be advanced. You need to know what you're doing. You need to spend some time with it to learn it. If you are, then that's not going to be a con, but it is a con for some people. It feels weak in temp mode. If you turn up the heat coefficient, if you have an app that works with the device, you can do that, and it's more satisfying. If not, you're going to have to turn your Fahrenheit up or your Celsius up to get that satisfying vape if you have other temp controlled devices with different chips like from E-cig. The button, love it or hate it. I like it. Don't love it. I think it's good. It's not the best ever, but it's really, really easy to fire, and it's a simple navigation once you get the hang of it. I do wish that the instruction manual had more detail about coefficiency and things of that nature, but it's a pretty good manual, but it could be a little bit better with more detail about what that is, what the numbers mean, maybe a graph, a chart, explaining all of that for the users. So there you have it. I've been excited. I'm still excited. I'm going to continue using this, the Smok X Pro 2, right here on the Vapor Chronicles. I have a lot more where this came from, lots more devices right here. So stay tuned, and I'll see you really, really soon. Have a good one. If you enjoy my channel, like, share, and subscribe today. Thanks a lot. If you love to vape, why don't you fight for your right to vape? Go to www.CASAA.org.